get my adjust.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video. Hope all you have an awesome day. So basically, this previous video that you saw was me doing a valve cover, painting the valve cover. I was also doing a valve adjustment and changing out all the gaskets at the same time. So this is just a continuation on that. I basically followed the DIY guys procedure for doing the valve adjustment. There's no better way that I can explain it that they haven't already done it. They just did a fantastic job. I will link their video in the description and just follow it the way they did and you'll be golden. So yeah, I was just here messing around doing a valve adjustment, making sure my measurements are right, and yeah, I'll go ahead and put a time lapse and get to the end of it.
Get my adjust.
2 hours later.
Alrighty, so after about 10 minutes, we finally found the feeler gauge. That thing really made me go through it just to find it. So we're trying to adjust the intake side for the looser end, since it seems to get tighter over time. So that'll be 0.010. And alrighty, so that about does it for the valve adjustment job. It's honestly not that bad. It's just a lot of back and forth, making sure the measurements are where you want them to be. So now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and take apart the Vtec solenoid. I have all the gaskets. It's been leaking pretty bad, and it's been leaking onto the little cooler hose there. So I have all the parts to replace that, so we're going to go ahead and take that apart and then put all the new stuff in. So let's do that. Have the part number for the Vtec solenoid gasket, and then this is the O-ring for. There's an O-ring under this oil pressure sensor. I'll put up the part number for that. So those are the two things that you need. I'm gonna go ahead and swap this over, and then once I swap this over, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this out, make it nice and clean. This thing is rather flat instead of plump. It's a bad one. It's a good one. Yeah, this thing was toast. I'm sure you can see it, but it's really flattened out, and that's what causes leaks. These things flatten out, and no good. Alright, so I went ahead and put it back on the car just to get enough leverage to be able to take it off, and this is what happens when you take the top. This is what's under the top portion of the Vtec solenoid. So I got the replacement from Kraken Automotive. Honda doesn't really sell this separately, which is strange. So I went ahead and got this aftermarket one. Everybody says it's one of the best ones out there. It's really cheap, only 10 bucks. So yeah, this one's toast. It's pretty flat. So we'll go ahead and replace that with the new upper solenoid gasket. Not sure if you guys can read there, but just go on Amazon upper Vtec solenoid seal and make sure you get Kraken Automotive. So simple as it gets. Have it. That's how you replace all 3 solenoid gaskets for the Vtec portion of the car. And there you go. Now you just mount it back on and you're good to go. Just my luck. Broke a bolt that goes to the Vtec solenoid. Man, that thing has been a nightmare trying to get out. But look at the progress I have made so far. You can see the bolt actually sticking out. An hour ago, that was like, you barely could see it in there. I had to finagle and finagle. I used a knife and I just caught it on the edge. I shoved it in there on the edge and then just went up on it and kept going, and I was like, wow, it's actually turning. And so I was doing that slowly and slowly until an hour later, and a whole bunch of lacerations and cuts on my hands. We are here. Gosh, this thing has been a nightmare. Alrighty, here we have the culprit. Man, I hope you guys never have to go through that. Broken bolt, not fun. 10 out of 10, don't recommend. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. I mean, I was just, for the past hour and a half after you seen me do the Vtec solenoid, I tried to just mount it on after I put all the gaskets on, and then snap using a power tool. Silly me. So definitely not using power tools to torque that thing, because so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. And I need to go get a new bolt from Honda. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. But yeah, stay tuned. What's going on, everybody? I'm back. I have all the parts now, especially that dumb bolt that I ended up breaking, and a couple more gaskets. So I'm going to go ahead and put everything back together, and I'll put all the part numbers up for all the gaskets on a valve cover and everything else that I replaced, the Vtec solenoid, all that stuff. So now it's time to put that 3rd bolt on the Vtec solenoid, and I have learned my lesson, and I won't be using a power tool. Alright, so I unwrapped it in the Teflon tape or pipe thread, whatever they call this stuff. I unwrapped it in there, pressed in the O-ring, make sure she's seated in there, and then just go ahead and tighten it up by hand. And there she goes. Almost forgot, I also did order this O-ring, since it's kind of like bloated, since the oil was leaking on there and it just like expanded this rubber. So I have the replacement already, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this off and put the new one in, and I'm not gonna forget to tighten that, of course. So here's the difference between the old expanded swollen one and the OEM one, or I mean a new OEM one. You can see just how much fatter this one got from the oil leaking up over the top. So I did lose quite a bit of the coolant because I didn't do this fast enough, but I'll go ahead and bleed the coolant, and yeah, that was silly me, but yeah, we'll get this fixed. Another thing I almost forgot to mention, I also have the gasket that goes here. It was leaking slightly, so I was like, yep, time to replace that. I will show the part number. You have to be very careful with this to not unscrew it all the way, because if you do, then you're gonna have to redo all the timing, because apparently all of this one bolt is holding this up, so if you unthread it all the way out, I guess that falls. So we don't want to find out. So I have here some tweezers, and just go ahead and pull this thing out. So here's the old one. I ended up breaking it, I mean unintentionally, but hey, it got it out. Here's a new one. This one, yeah, it's probably hard to tell, but you can see how flat it is compared to the plumpy new O-ring. So that went on smooth as butter. Smooth as butter. Once you grease it up with some oil or lube it up with some oil, it just slides on perfectly. So I'm just gonna go ahead and clean this up. Another leak fixed. We're fixing all the leaks on this thing. So, and if you look inside, you can see where that bolt holds everything. You can see it comes out. But yeah, you get the point. So, all right, let's finish up here. Alrighty, here's the moment of truth. Dun dun dun. She's alive. So far, no leaks, so time to burp the coolant system. Bleeding the coolant. Yeah, so she's 100% now. Shout outs to the DIY guys. I followed their coolant bleed procedure on the money, but you definitely need that no spill funnel. It'll make your life a million times easier. So yeah, she's all buttoned up right for now, and as soon as I get other stuff for it, you know, I'll go ahead and show you guys what I do to it. I do have some goodies coming in, some accessories, which will spice it up just a little bit. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed.